All right, we have a breaking update coming in. The Prime Minister has just tweeted 2 minutes back and he has said that आज शाम 6 बजे राष्ट्र के नाम संदेश दूंगा आप जरूर जुड़े. Will be sharing a message with my fellow citizens at 6 p.m. this evening. That's a breaking update. The Prime Minister will be addressing the nation at 6 p.m. this evening. We are yet to know what, if any announcement that the Prime Minister will be making in his address today. But this is a tweet that has just come in as he has also been speaking on several issues, especially when it comes to the healthcare systems throughout the grassroots level initiatives and many other things that could be taken up to. Aishwarya Kapoor is with us. Aishwarya, anything on what will be said by the Prime Minister this evening as he will address the nation? Aishwarya?
Yeah, absolutely. The Prime Minister making this very important announcement that today in the evening at 6 p.m. he is going to be addressing the nation, and he says in Hindi and he tweets कि मेरे को देशवासियों से कुछ एक महत्वपूर्ण बात करनी है. So it's going to be very, very important and significant, keeping in mind that Government of India has already announced Unlock 5. We really have to wait and watch that what is going to be the important and significant announcement which the Prime Minister wants to share with the people of the country at 6 p.m. today evening. We are trying to garner and gather more information regarding the same, but at this point of time, that is going to be very, very important today evening at 6 p.m.
Well, it's just that very little information because the Prime Minister himself hasn't given out any details in his tweet. It is just a one-line tweet in Hindi and English that he's put out on his Twitter page, Aishwarya, because it seems several of the issues that we can actually speculate or talk about that could be the reason that the Prime Minister will be addressing the nation, but it comes after a significantly long period. Whereas more on such issues where Prime Minister, even not just while he is addressing the nation, but even in his Mann Ki Baat address, has mostly talked about coronavirus, the pandemic and its effect, and of course, as you were mentioning, the Unlock 5 guidelines that are already set in place.
Well, absolutely, because still we are in the COVID-19 phase, and keeping that in mind, that there is still not, India does not have a known vaccine for it, so it is still that very question, Amita, of COVID is still unknown, and that is something which the Prime Minister has been very, very wary of. He has been holding not one but several stock-taking meetings just around 48 hours prior. He has held a very important meeting in this regard, and that was the meeting in which there was a detailed, in-depth briefing to him regarding the vaccine, which the Indian medical scientists are onto. So yes, all of this is being discussed on an hourly basis within the Prime Minister's office. There is a dedicated unit which has been given within the Prime Minister's office which keep a tab on it. But then we have to wait and watch that what exactly is going to be in that announcement at 6 p.m. today. Because when the Prime Minister himself announced, and as you said, it's just a one-line statement which is coming out by the Prime Minister. We would not want to speculate until unless our sources confirm. Hence, at this point of time, the 6 p.m. statement which is going to be made by Prime Minister Modi is going to be very significant and important.
Absolutely, because the Prime Minister speaking at 6 p.m. is the time. That is the tweet that has been posted by the Prime Minister just a short while back. And he goes on to say, and I'm quoting once again from that tweet, आज शाम 6 बजे राष्ट्र के नाम संदेश दूंगा आप जरूर जुड़े. Will be sharing a message with my fellow citizens at 6 p.m. this evening. Aishwarya, stay on with us. We also have Niranjan joining us from the Mumbai newsroom. Yes, Niranjan.
Well, there's a big speculation, of course, about what the Prime Minister is likely to speak about. Reminds us about his, addresses, especially during the lockdown. The Prime Minister, from announcing the lockdown to all the measures that India was taking and the different initiatives that he announced to ensure that we as a nation stay united and fight COVID-19. This particular announcement that he has made on Twitter about the address at 6 p.m., he has simply said that he will address the nation this evening. And there is a big speculation about what the Prime Minister's address could be about. Now, we certainly can't speculate because, of course, he will make it official. I think Abhishek is also on the phone line. Perhaps he's in a better position to give us an idea about what could be in the offing or in the pipeline. Abhishek, what more are you picking up? What could the address be about? Any signs that you're picking up?
Niranjan, all indication is that it would be about COVID and the prevailing situation. And remember, Prime Minister has not spoken or directly connected with people on the subject for almost 3 months now. If you remember, when the lockdown happened, Prime Minister was effectively communicating on the progress of the pandemic in India and how the government is tackling with it and how the people need to get involved almost every fortnight. Since then, it has tapered off, you can expect that while the Prime Minister will be giving an update on the vaccine situation and how things are moving on that front. Remember, Prime Minister yesterday also gave us a bit of a hint while engaging, giving the challengers address that India is deeply involved with the Committee of Nations in terms of sharing the vaccine and its infrastructure. In the last meeting that he took with the Empowered Group on the COVID pandemic, he briefed and he took briefing on how India was going to tackle in terms of infrastructure, in terms of infrastructure requirements for making sure that everyone in the country gets a vaccine shot at the earliest possible. In fact, there is indication that the first vaccine available could be between December and January, at the end of this year and the beginning of next year. And Prime Minister perhaps updating people of how the situation is. Of course, it goes without saying that as was admitted by the Health Ministry yesterday, Niranjan, that in some pockets of India there is community transmission happening. If that's a matter of worry, perhaps Prime Minister would share the scale of that. But as is the case, Prime Minister generally takes these kind of opportunities to have a broad-based dialogue with the people, communicating directly with them. So you can expect that apart from COVID, there could be a couple of more issues that the Prime Minister would discuss in his 6 p.m. address to the nation.
Yeah. Also significant, Abhishek, like you mentioned, the Prime Minister did, of course, make a mention a few hours back. There was a meeting on COVID-19 vaccine delivery system. So India is preparing a blueprint on the delivery and distribution of vaccines. So that's in the offing. And that's what you're picking up, that it could be related to COVID. We're not sure whether it could be about the vaccine, can't confirm that, but certainly on the COVID vaccine distribution front, India is prepared. Abhishek, that's what you're picking up.
Well, yes. In fact, in the meeting that the Prime Minister took a day before yesterday, Niranjan, it had come to light that we might need something like 100,000 trucks, especially tailored for transport of vaccines. That would be like additional requirement in terms of making sure that the vaccine reaches nook and corner of the country at the earliest, and then about other warehousing infrastructure and refrigeration infrastructure. So I believe the Prime Minister has taken stock of the situation. He has an idea of the scale of delivery and the scale of delivery infrastructure that would be needed. You could expect that the Prime Minister would give some glimpse of it. And as I said, the first signs of a vaccine are going to be somewhere around December and January. So it's not very far, just about 2-3 months. And as I said, while the Prime Minister in the first half was of the spirit of the pandemic was updating and engaging with the people almost every fortnight, it has tapered off since then. So this is kind of a touching base again on a number of issues, including the pandemic, the vaccine, and of course even the situation with China. The Prime Minister might choose to make an indirect mention, if not a very direct or comment on what is happening there as well in Ladakh.
Okay, so Abhishek, picking up more details that it could in all probability be about COVID, but we can't stick our neck out and say it for sure. But certainly this is going to be a big announcement. Abhishek, takes us back to the time when we were all under lockdown. Of course, us journalists were working because we are essential services, but the Prime Minister did, of course, address the country at regular intervals on how we were fighting and how we need to be better prepared. This is after a long period.
Yes, Niranjan. So, in fact, I believe the Prime Minister is speaking after a gap of almost 3 months so far as the COVID pandemic is concerned, if the Prime Minister is actually addressing on that subject in the evening. But and that is the indication given to us, I should add. But as I said, Niranjan, that Prime Minister takes these opportunities to broad basis engagement with the people at large, and then he can speak on the COVID pandemic and the economy and the overall situation. And then he cannot obviously make announcement, I believe, given the elections that are on in Bihar and the model code of conduct in place. But if there is some announcement which is pertaining to rest of the country and does not directly affect the implementation of the model code, even that. So in that sense, if, for example, there is an announcement on COVID vaccine, it can be made. So we have to just wait till 6 p.m. to hear that from the Prime Minister himself.
Okay, Abhishek, I'll let you go at this point. So that's the breaking news update in this minute. The Prime Minister is going to address the nation at 6 p.m. He has tweeted in both English and Hindi, saying that he will be addressing the citizens of the country. In Hindi, he said, "Aaj sham 6 baje Rashtra ke naam sandesh dunga, aap zarur jude." We'll be sharing a message with my fellow citizens at 6 p.m. this evening. There is a big speculation on whether there will be an announcement. It is also significant to note that the Prime Minister and senior ministers and key officials have met a few hours back, in fact, to the effect of the delivery system and the manner in which India's vaccine delivery and distribution will take place, India's COVID preparedness vis-a-vis the vaccine. A large thrust of the meeting was on the vaccine and how we will distribute it when we get our hands on it. Now, will he talk about COVID? We will have to wait and watch. Will he announce anything big on the vaccine? We have to wait and watch. That's at 6 p.m. and Republic TV will be live. Stay tuned.